The stadium was built by Ruth. The Iron Horse was in his youth. The Yankees lineup was a murderer's row. We're talking baseball. Y'all don't want to hear me sing. I'm sure you guys don't want to hear me sing, so let's get to it. What's going on, everybody? Hope all is well. Welcome to another edition of TD Sports Talk, and we're talking baseball today. I'm just going to recap the first month of the season as best as I can and as quickly as I can. I don't plan on being on long. I was going to do a video, but I rather just talk it through in a live. I wrote down my notes. So I know what I want to say, and I'm going to say it. Hopefully people, if you guys tune in, I'll talk to you in the chat as well. If you got anything you want to talk about, hit me up too, but it's strictly baseball. We're not talking boxing today. So let's see if anybody's here right now. Quee, what's good, Quee? Hope all is well. Hey, I see. Hey, I sing on Kia Don't mind that at all. I thought I did pretty well. Don't let me get into full singing motion, man, karaoke style. Don't let me do it because I can. I have no shame. And I don't even have to get liquor in me to act a fool and sing. But anyway, hope all is well with you, Quee. And we're going to get into it. So we're going to recap the first month of the season. I mean, the first month is technically not over. We're still in the month of April, got a couple of days left. So I'm going to recap up to yesterday. We're going to talk about a few things real quick. Let's talk about the favorite, the team that made most of the moves this year. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Los Angeles Dodgers, they're leading the NL West division. They're on pace to win win 100 games again this year, and they're on pace to win the NL West again this season. Their big three is producing well. Mookie Betts has he's been on fire. He started off great. He's looking like the MVP of the league right now. He's hitting .391. Almost 400 batting average at .391. He's got 6 home runs, 23 RBIs, with 5 stolen bases, and his slugging percentage is at .661. Pretty insane numbers for the first month of the season for Mookie Betts. Followed by Ohtani. The Dodgers spend a lot of money on this guy. There's some controversy with this guy, with his interpreter betting on baseball. Not sure what's going to happen there. Not sure if there was a conclusion made yet with Ohtani and what they're ruling on with his interpreter. But him in general, he's not able to pitch this year. He had surgery. He's only, able to hit. I'm not sure if they're going to use him to pitch later this year. We'll see what happens next year, or maybe if the playoffs, if he's eligible to pitch. But he's strictly hitting this year, and boy, is he ever hitting. Hitting .347 with 7 home runs, 18 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, and a .661 slugging percentage, the same as Betts. So you got Betts and Ohtani on the same team, similar numbers. Ohtani's got 1 more homer than Betts. Betts with the better average. Of course, Quee, we know you're a Rangers fan, the defending champ, the Texas Rangers. Yes, indeed. They had a great season last year. I don't have much to talk about them in this show. I spoke about them in my last recap. But I'll tell you what, Garcia's he's having a good year already. Adolis Garcia, he's played well. He's a monster for that Texas team. And they're a young team too. So I expect Texas to win that division. That division right now in the AL West it started off pretty slow. I think Seattle, if I'm not mistaken, they're leading the division. They're in first place. Let me see what their record is. Texas is at, they're playing 500 ball. They're at 14-14, and Seattle's at 15-12. So this division seems to be the weakest division in the AL right now. Well, I don't want to say that because Seattle's got talent too. Oakland's always gets beat up on. The Central is pretty much, we don't know what's up with the Central. Cleveland is having a great year. I'm going to talk about them in a minute. Just want to go into the third guy on that Dodgers team. Freeman, that's the part of the big three in that Dodger team. He's hitting .305. He only has 1 homer and 18 RBI. So Freeman doesn't have the home runs like he can produce, but he's still nevertheless hitting .305 with 18 ribbies. And then a lot of people don't talk about this guy, Will Smith, not the actor. I'm talking about the catcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's hitting 367 with 21 RBIs. This Dodger team is stacked. They spend a lot of money this year. They also spend a lot. They spend a lot of money on Ohtani. They spend a lot of money bringing in Glasnow, who's pitched well. He exited yesterday with cramps. He's usually injury prone. That's always been the problem with Glasnow. He can never really pitch a full season, but they say he's okay. He's supposed to make his next start. Then the other guy they spent money on was this Japanese guy, Yamamoto, right? I can't pronounce his name. Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He started off not so great, but pretty decent, solid, keeps them in the game. He's at 2-1 off 6 games, two wins, 1 loss. He has 37 Ks in 20 innings, 28 innings pitched. That's pretty good. ERA of 3.54. His whip, decent, average at a 1.07. So that's the Dodgers. The Dodgers look solid, as they should look solid, right? They spend a lot of money in the offseason. They got a monster of a team. Let's see what happens. I got a lot of hate for the Dodgers. As a Yankee fan, that's the NL rival, in my opinion. Not the Mets. It is the Dodgers. But anyway, the Dodgers. Second thing I want to talk about the recap. Let's talk about my New York Yankees. What's good, Josh Sanders? What's going on, bro? Let's talk about my New York Yankees, and let's talk about the acquisition they made, Juan Soto. He looks like he's fitting in well. Whether or not he remains a Yankee at the end of the season is up for grabs. A lot of people tend to think that he won't. I kind of am in the middle. And that's because the Yankees, would have to pay a lot of money to Juan Soto. And they already pay a lot of money to Aaron Judge. And I don't know how you can pay Juan Soto more than Aaron Judge. Just my opinion. But Juan Soto is having a phenomenal start to the season, hitting 324 with 7 home runs. He has a 581 slugging percentage with 23 RBIs. Mr. Shelton, what's going on? The Braves are the best. We'll get to the Braves and their leading hitter, the alcoholic on that team. We'll talk about him in a minute. I got some notes on him. He's having a phenomenal year. He's leading in home runs and RBIs. I'll get to him shortly. Also doing well for the Yankees, Carlos Rondon has pitched well. Last year, he was a big acquisition for the Yankees. Didn't do as well for the Yankees because he was injury prone. He had a lot of injuries. I look for him to remain, injury-free this year and carry the Yankees because we don't know what's going to happen with Garrett Cole. But he's pitched well so far. Yesterday, he had a great game against the Brewers. He went 6 innings, only gave up 2 hits, 1 walk, had 8 Ks, and gave up 1 earned run. That was a solo home run that he gave up. Not sure who hit the home run, but he pitched well. His overall stats, he's 2-1 with a 2.48 ERA, 1.19 whip. I would like to get that whip down a little bit more. And he has 30 strikeouts. So Carlos Rondon, look out for him. Hopefully he can carry the Yankees if Garrett Cole cannot be able to come back and pitch for the Yankees. So that goes on to my third topic of the day in the first month of the season, the Cleveland Guardians. How do they do it? They're 19-8, the league's best record at the moment, leading the AL Central. And it's pretty simple why they do it. They've got 11 wins versus Oakland and Boston, the Red Sox, who we hate. I say we because everybody should hate the Red Sox unless you're in Boston, right? And as a Yankee fan, we hate Boston. But the Indians, 19 wins, 8 losses, 11 of those wins, 6 against the Oakland Athletics. And Oakland Athletics are pretty terrible. Oh, that's right, the Guardians. Sorry, no more Indians. I still got to get used to that. the Cleveland Guardians, right? The Cleveland Guardians. My apologies. Don't want to offend anybody, right? 19 wins, 6 wins against the Oakland Athletics, 5 wins against Boston. But nonetheless, 19-8, still pretty good for the first one of the season. It's all about winning games, and you play versus whoever's on the field, and you got to win those games, right? So we'll see what happens later on. That division is extremely weak, in my opinion. Chicago White Sox are not that good. I think the Royals are pretty good. They have a young team. Look out for the Royals. But right now, the Indians 19-8, led by Stephen Kwan, the left fielder. He's hitting 345 with 3 home runs, 8 ribbies. And my guy, my favorite Indian, is Josh Naylor. Josh Naylor is a fantasy stud. I drafted him in my fantasy leagues Both leagues that I'm in, I have Josh Naylor. He's hitting 295, 6 home runs, 21 RBIs, and he has 2 stolen bases. And one thing I want to speak about the Guardians, not the end of the Guardians, is 19-8 without their best pitcher. They lost their best pitcher, Shane Bieber, for the entire season. He's gone for the year. Tanner Bibby, the young kid, I believe this is his second year. He's starting off 2-0, 35 Ks. His whip is pretty high, 1.31, and he has a 3.45 ERA. So they're led by him. So it's pretty impressive that they got 19 wins without their best pitcher in Shane Bieber. Okay, on to the next topic, the Baltimore Orioles. I had a video I dropped this morning about the Baltimore Orioles and how their farm system is stacked. They're stacked. Their minor league farm, they have a young team, probably the youngest team in baseball, and they have prospects galore down there. And I spoke about that in my video. The Baltimore Orioles, who we also don't like, especially if you're a Yankee fan in the East Division, you don't like the Orioles, but they have the big prospect that everybody's been talking about, Jackson Holiday, and he got sent back down. They called him up a few weeks ago. He sent back down. He had a horrible start, only 2 hits and 34 at-bats, struck out 18 times in 34 at-bats with only 1 RBI. So they sent him back down. He'll probably get called back up maybe in another month or two, depending on, how he does in the minors. But Colton Cowser, phenomenal year so far. 328, 6 home runs, 17 RBIs, 3 stolen bases. Jordan Westberg, another guy, he's playing great. 295, 5 home runs, 18 ribbies, 4 stolen bases. And Gunnar Henderson, another young guy, in his second year. 294 average, 8 home runs, 20 RBIs, 5 stolen bases. He's a fantasy stud. If you got him, look to keep him. And you got a hell of a fantasy player there. I spoke about a couple of the minor guys. Kobe Mayo, 22 years old in the minors. I expect him to get called up soon. He's hitting 360 with 11 RBIs. No, excuse me. He's hitting 317 with 7 home runs, 20 RBIs, 3 stolen bases. He had a good spring. He didn't make the team, but I expect him to get called up with those numbers. Another guy I was going to talk about was a Connor Norby, another guy in the minors I talked about in my video. He's hitting 289, 364 on base percentage, 6 home runs, 19 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases. Now let's touch up on our league leaders. We'll go to the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta Braves right now are in first place. They are leading the NL East with an 18-7 record over the Phillies. The Phillies are 18-10 with the dreadful New York Mets. I'm a Met hater, so I'm going to say that. But they're playing 500 ball. But the Atlanta Braves in first place without their best player really playing well. He's up there in stolen bases, Acuna, but he's not. He doesn't have the big home runs or the big power numbers yet. But with that being said, Marcell Ozuna, he's leading the league with 9 home runs, and he's also leading the league in RBIs with 31, and he's leading the Braves right now in first place. I'm very critical of Ozuna because he's a wife beater, right? And he's also an alcoholic. And I guess there's nothing wrong with alcoholic, but I guess when you're driving, I think that's pretty bad. So here's my thing with Ozuna. Ozuna's good. He's always going to give you those power numbers, but he's not going to hit 354 all year long, in my opinion. So if you have him in fantasy, sell high. I really don't think he's going to do this all year. So if you could sell Ozuna high, do it. If not, I don't expect him to put up these numbers all year long. And it's just no hate, for the Atlanta Braves, no hate for Ozuna. It's just his MO. He's not really a high average hitting guy. So another guy doing well this season in the first month, Ellie De La Cruz, second year. Last year he got called up, and the lights were on him, right? Stealing home last year, all the stolen bases he got, his speed, his power. Check this out. In about about 24, 23 games, 17 stolen bases. That's pretty sick. We don't see that anymore. We don't see, guys steal 100 bases in a season anymore since like Vince Coleman and Ricky Henderson back in the day. So, but Dela Cruz is on pace to get 100 stolen bases, 17 stolen bases already in the first month of the season. But let's not talk about his wheels. Look at his power numbers: 7 home runs, 18 RBIs. I think he's in the running for MVP right now in the first month of the season behind Mookie Betts. And then last and not least, I want to talk about some pitchers that are doing well this season. My guy, Shota Imanaga. I love these Asian pitchers that come over. For the Chicago Cubs, he's got 4-0 with a 0.98 ERA, with a .80 whip, 28 Ks. I like this guy. I would say a kid for a rookie, but he's not a kid. He's coming from, I believe, Japan. And I think he's like 31, 32 years old. But I'm high on this guy, Shota Imanaga. And then up there, you got Tyler Glasnow, I briefly spoke about before. He's played well for the Dodgers, pitched well so far. The thing about him, as we said, he's always injury prone. And then last but not least, we got Zach Wheeler, who's 2-3. Why am I talking about a guy that's 2 wins and 3 losses? Well, let's look at his numbers. 1.93 ERA and 46 strikeouts. You telling me this guy's got a 1.93 ERA and he's only got 2 wins? Philadelphia, you got to score more runs for this guy. He needs more run support. But Zach Wheeler is definitely one of my top 3 of pitching this year with Shota Imanaga and Tyler Glasnow. That's all I got as far as the recap. I'll go over the standings. Right now, as of yesterday, we have a tie for the first place in the AL East. We got the Baltimore Orioles at 17-9, with the Yankees 18-10, followed by the Red Sox at 15-13. Hopefully, they'll continue to lose, the Red Sox. Then followed by Toronto and Tampa Bay at 13-15. In the Central Division, I just spoke about them. The Cleveland Guardians, 19-8 with the best record in baseball. They lead the Kansas City Royals at 17-11, followed by surprising Detroit Tigers at 15-12, and the Minnesota Twins at 500, 13-13, and the dreadful Chicago White Sox with only 5 wins, 22 losses. The AL West is pretty competitive. It's always a competitive division. We got the Seattle Mariners are leading right now at 15-12, followed by the defending champions, the Texas Rangers at 14-14. I expect the Rangers to pick it up. I think the Rangers are going to win this division. It's still early. It's only the first month of the season. And then in third place, you got the Oakland Athletics at 11 wins, 17 losses. Then you have the Los Angeles Angels at 10 wins, 17 losses. And the surprising Houston Astros. Could this be the year that the Astros are just trash? 8 wins, 19 losses. I hope so. I hate the Astros, right? Yankees swept them already in the first series, 4 games, and I loved it. And I know I have some Astro fans that come in here from time to time. My man Rod Neal, he's a big Astro fan. He lets me have it when they do well. So, it's okay to hit a man when he's down, right? In this case. So the Astros not looking too good. Now let's go to the National League. We talk about the Atlanta Braves. First place, 18-7. They are the favorites to win that division, followed by the Phillies at 18-10. Then you have the New York Mets at 13-13, followed by the Washington Nationals at 12-14. They have a guy in the minors that I'm looking at really high on. I told you guys, please stash him, James Wood. I think they're going to call him up in another week or 2. I really feel like he's going to get called up. If you have room on your fantasy bench, pick him up. If he's already picked up, I'm sorry. All right. Followed by the Marlins at 6-22. The Marlins have no luck. They got some good young pitching, but one of them was out for the year. They just called up Cabrera. He got lit up the other day. And then they sent down Max Meyer, another stud pitcher. I guess they want to limit his innings because he's coming off Tommy John surgery. He pitched well, but they want to keep him on an innings limit. So we'll see how they do with that. Now we go to the NL Central. The Milwaukee Brewers leading the Central at 17-9. They're currently, last I checked, they were tied with the Yankees 4-4. They both won a game apiece. So this is the tiebreaker of the series between the Yankees and Brewers. Hopefully the Yankees can come out on top in Milwaukee. Followed by In second place, the Chicago Cubs, 17-10. Then you have the Cincinnati Reds at 15-12, the Pittsburgh Pirates 14-14, and St. Louis at 13-14 in last place, surprisingly. And then we go to the AL and NL West. We already spoke about the first place Los Angeles Dodgers. They spent a ton of money to win a World Series. Let's see if they can actually win a World Series. But so far, so good. 18-11 in first place, on pace to 100 wins, followed by the San Diego Padres under 500 at 14-16. Then you have the San Francisco Giants at 13-15, the Arizona Diamondbacks at 12-16, and the Colorado Rockies with 7-20. So we got a couple really bad divisions right now, especially in the NL West. But let's see how it plays out. The Dodgers have everything lined up for them right now. Do I think Betts is going to hit 400? No, I do not. But Betts is a stud, and Freeman is a stud, and we already know what Ohtani can do. So that team is stacked. I just hope that they, you know what? I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I was going to wish some bad things, but I'm not going to wish bad things. That's not nice. But that's pretty much all I got. Just wanted to come here and talk a little bit of baseball, try it out on the live, see if I get anybody up in here talking baseball. Appreciate all you guys that came through very much to hear me talk about, stats and stats and stats. I look to drop videos on baseball pretty much once a week, probably recap the week, maybe do some Yankee videos as well, as I'm a Yankee fan. I go to some of the games as well, so maybe I go to games. I'll do some content out there as well. If you guys want me to talk about anything in particular in baseball, please let me know. Leave it in the comments, and I'll talk about it in the next live, and I'll make a video about it. So with that being said, I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. Stay tuned for the casual boxing fan. He's coming soon, guys. It's going to be hilarious videos coming soon. The casual boxing fan is coming soon. All right, spread the word. All right, it's my cousin. He's not really my blood cousin, but I call him a cousin. He looks like me, he talks like me, but he's not me. He's the casual boxing fan. So take care, guys. I appreciate you guys coming through. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care.